Now, before I filed my lawsuit, they were sued before, but it was kind of swept under the rug. You know what I mean? They had a
Yeah, they
few
probably
here and
settled
there,
out of court and
you
tried to keep
know.
it as quiet as possible. Yeah, I get that. Most legal cases are, actually speaking, in terms of business. I think 90% of them get settled out of court before it even enters litigation. In your case, you actually had to litigate this, and if I'm not mistaken, you couldn't get a lawyer on your side, but you decided to be your own lawyer in this case.
I had to. I'd never been in this situation before. And when I filed, that's when everything just started crumbling down. It's like I lit the fire, like I
Hmm.
started it. And my experience of going through this, what I can't understand is I had to pay for the forms. Like when you go in and file a lawsuit, you got to pay the fees.
Hmm.
And that's probably why a lot of people didn't file because they didn't have any extra money.
Yeah,
If
I
you're out of state, if you're out of
Yeah,
state, it's hard to, okay, now you got to get a flight or drive, right, to come here to file.
yeah. It's even harder for someone out of state, much less you, who's in the state, and they got to somehow still find a lawyer. Like maybe they can find a lawyer from their state, but that lawyer has to find a representative to help represent you, and it's extremely expensive. Like just even if you did it yourself, which fool has their selves for a lawyer kind of thing. Judges don't
mhm.
like that usually. Um, it's extremely expensive just to file proceedings. Like it's thousands and thousands of dollars that these people are already out.
Well, yeah, that's true. I've noticed that in terms of your case, just from the transaction assessment alone for this was you just going to the court and filing all of this. This ran you a total of $313.50 for the first one, and about the same for the second one, which apparently they didn't even spell your name right. It's amazing the silly games that I don't even I haven't even been there. I don't know who you were dealing with, but I could kind of tell the kind of game that they were playing, cuz not everything about being a lawyer is legalese. It's not about paperwork and stuff like that. It's how do you move certain things to accomplish a certain result for your client. And I think the second case that you ran, that one blew me away because I was like, really? We're gonna do this now? So why don't we talk about the case for a little bit?
So I'll never forget when I first went to file the first case. They have a department on a different floor where you can go and get help. And I remember going up to that floor asking for help because I had to buy the forms, which were $2. And I just so happened I had $2 in cash. And if you use the credit card, they charge you fees. Now, like I said, I've never been in this situation. So why should I have to pay for forms to file a lawsuit? Even and I know I have to pay the fees to file. Shouldn't they come included? I always wondered about that. Anyway, so the packet that I had, the $2 packet that they give you, when I went to, I think it was upstairs, and I went to go try to talk to someone, no one can help me. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to fill out these forms. I had to ask them different questions. And it just amazes me that when you go down to the Orange County clerk, and you try to get help and no one would help you, I just felt like it was like an out of body experience. No, I'm serious. Like, I just couldn't believe it. It's like you're in a room and you're yelling for help. Someone hears you, but they don't know where you are, you know? And it's like, out the forms. And by the time I got home, I was like, I have to fill out a second one. I have to do the second one because the first one was for 8,000. And then I had to do the second lawsuit, which I did later. And, I never been in mediation. I didn't know what that was. So I had to go through that process. You're in mediation. And then you have, they always sent their lawyer. And so it just went quick. That's all I can say. It went quick because it was still online. We were via Zoom. And then I had to wait for the actual court date. The second step. And then the third step, he didn't come. The third time, he didn't show up. So I don't know what happened. But I end up winning the first lawsuit. But what I couldn't understand is Florida laws, they had up to 20 years to pay me my money back. But then they filed for bankruptcy. So I would never see that money. The second lawsuit is pending because they're currently in bankruptcy. So whether I win or not, which I will win, but it wouldn't matter because they filed for bankruptcy. I'm not getting that money.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to pay their creditors, vendors, whoever first, then whoever else down the line with the lawsuit. And what they should have done, 20 years is ridiculous, but they should have put a stay and have stricter, tolerances on that. 20 years just seems extreme to me for a company to pay you back for $30,000.
But that's Florida law, so that needs to change. That's ridiculous. It's a lot of stuff that needs to change. These laws in Florida, since this is my second time coming back to live, they're so antiquated. And I'm not saying other cities, other states don't have antiquated laws, but they need to be updated. They need to be changed. They need to be updated. And if you don't have the right people in these positions to make those changes, it won't happen. It won't happen until it's them or someone they know.
Yeah. So what you're calling for is tort reform and expedite the process and have simple rules and not here you can keep kicking the bucket down the road, and under certain circumstances there should be stays, legally speaking, on that. As far as me being a legal beginner knows, I think that there definitely needs to be that, not just on a state level from multiple states, because they're talking about it here too. I keep hearing ads, but on a nationwide level.
Yeah. Also, I just think that they need to it needs to be justice, right? We're seeking justice. We need to they need jail time. And I don't know why it keeps getting skipped. I don't know why it's not being talked about. I don't understand how this is any state, but a company can steal from you and then create two other companies and literally do the same thing again. Your own
Yeah.
state is not helping the people. It's like, yeah, I live here, but the state is not helping the other people that live like native, like people who live here. Something needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm guessing they give it to the right politicians. I'm gonna guess your AG is they've donated to them or something, and maybe they're being protected that way, or they just have a connection somewhere. Because there's a lot of dirty state AGs. I know this is unrelated, but timeshares. I think it was the state of Washington. The AG backed the scummy timeshare companies versus the people who are getting crushed by it, and it's similar in the concept that people are getting ripped off, and these people should be held criminally liable. You can only hide behind an LLC in bankruptcy civilly, not criminally. These people should be held liable and be sitting somewhere in a federal prison for years.
Yeah, I agree. So I want laws changed so nobody else would ever. I hope I never have to go through this ever again.